guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Lauren. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. Today, I'm really excited. I have a long video all about the Solmåne II collection from Oden's Eye. This collection is launching, I believe, tomorrow on Friday, so I'll leave the information down below. This is a pretty big collection. It's super summery. The theme on it with the sun and the moon is so pretty. The packaging's beautiful, and I'm excited to get into swatches, all my thoughts. I have quite a few thoughts on different things. So I'm gonna leave timestamps down below. I've been using this stuff a couple of different times, so it's not quite a first impressions. I still wanna get more thoughts, but I've definitely used things a couple of different times and definitely used quite a few of the products, which I don't always get to do. So it was great to be able to have a little bit of time with this collection beforehand. So I hope that any of my swatches and thoughts can be helpful if this was something you were thinking about picking up or were looking at. I do have a code with Oden's Eye, so if you're gonna shop the collection and you wanna use my code, it'll save you 10% off. It is monetarily affiliated, but no pressure. Just want to throw that out there in case you guys want to use it. But I want to overview what's in this collection because it's a lot. So we have the Solmåne II palette, and this is what it looks like. This is so pretty. This to me is like the ideal summer look here. We got blues, purples, and then warm tones as well, which I think contrast really nice. It's super colorful, which I haven't been into tons of color. I've been more a neutral girl lately, but something about this has me excited. And this palette's gonna retail for $32.90. There are 6 different blushes in here. 3 of them are a more shimmery formula. 3 of them are a more matte formula. They come in really beautiful packaging, and these retail for $20.90. There are 6 different duochromatic highlighters in here, and these retail for $22.90. Again, we have the really beautiful packaging, and there are definitely some pretty shades. I also do a comparison with my other duochromatic highlighters that I have. I just wanted to see how similar they were and whatnot. So yeah, there's those. And then last, for makeup as part of the collection, there are tons of gel liners. These are all in the kind of twist up packaging. There's 15 different shades. These retail for $5.90 a piece. You can also buy the entire pack, but I would stay tuned to my thoughts on that before you do that. I think the last thing, there is this double-sided mirror. One side is regular and the other side is magnified. So that's kind of cool. I actually use these things more than I ever did. So if that's something you're interested in, the mirror retails for $9.90. So I think that's everything for price points. Let's just get into it. It's already a long video. Again, use timestamps to get to where you want, and I hope more than anything this video is helpful if you were looking at the collection. So let's get into swatches. All right, let's start off with the swatches of the palette first. This is the Solmåne II, and this is the outer packaging. This is what the back looks like with all the different names. And then inside, this is the palette. I think this is so pretty. For a colorful palette, I really love that it has a mix of warm tones, cool tones. I love the like lighter shades. I'm like so drawn to this yellow, but there's also some deeper mattes to darken things up, some shimmers as well. This is a 15 color palette, and there are 7 shimmers and 8 mattes, I believe. So it's technically 1 matte heavy over shimmers. So yeah, let's get to swatching. I'll do each of them individually first. The first shade here is called Soft Cloud. It is a light baby blue. It's a matte color, really quite beautiful. I don't know why I swatched it in the middle of my freaking hand because I'm gonna do like 3 at a time like I did before, I think. Anyway, the next shade in the palette is called Mercury. This is a shimmer, and it is a metallic tealy mint is what I would call it. So it's like a blue, green minty shade. It has like a silver sparkle to it, and it does have like a colored base to it, so it's not like super sheer, but also not like fully opaque unless you want it to be. Yeah, that's Mercury. And then last for these set of swatches, this is Neptune. This is like a grayed out blue. I really think this is quite interesting as well. There's something about this where it's colorful, but there's also something kind of grungy, I guess, about it, or like there's like a drop of gray. It's like a sea that's about to storm or something, you know, there's something foreboding. Okay, that's too much, but you get it. You get what I mean. This would make a beautiful eye look, these 3 together, if you wanted something monochromatic and didn't want to go too deep. There's the first 3 shadows. Okay, next is the shade Deep Space, and this is a beautiful blue with a purple like sparkle throughout it. This one's a little bit more sheer and it has a shimmer, but maybe not as textured of a shimmer. It's really beautiful. I like this. I love these kinds of colors for like a blue smoky eye, but this one has, like I said, that really pretty, almost violet purple sparkle going on in it. It's a little more subtle. It doesn't quite flip. It's more the individual sparkles are that purple. And then this one here, Nebula, the last one in the first row, is a dark matte blue, super dark, super matte, like it is pigmented as all get out. It's a pretty classic dark blue. I almost wouldn't call it a navy. There's something about it where it just feels like the classic blue, the most deep and saturated it can go. I feel like a navy has more gray or black to it, to me personally. But I don't know, it's a very vibrant navy if anything. So next is the shade Meteor, and this is a lilac-y lavender purple. This has a gray tone to it as well. Lots of silver sparkle, some pink sparkle in there as well. Very, very beautiful. Really like this one. This one's a little bit more sheer too, like you can build it up. But if you wanted it more sheer, you could also have it that way. Really quite beautiful. Then the next shade is Dream, another one of the pastels in the palette. This one is more purple though than the light blue. I think that is beautiful. Really great pigmentation on that as well. Super smooth. Like, oh, I love it. I think that one's so, so pretty. And then last for this set of swatches, this is called Starry Sky. This is super sheer, like an actual sheer shade where there's really no base and it's just pink with a golden glittery, almost green leaning gold shift. Really so pretty, kind of ethereal, fairy. Like, I love these types of colors for tons of stuff, just to tap over any look, on the lid, on the brow bone, like so pretty. I love these as well. I would say the biggest thing though, it looks pink, but it's actually like a golden, almost golden green color. The next shade here is called Galaxy, and it is a matte, like purple berry color. This is one of those ones that I think if you blended it out, it's gonna turn brighter and lighter pink, but then if you like build it up, it adds more of that purple. I guess I'll sheer it out a little so you can kind of see. But beautiful color. I think it's gonna be a great one to deepen up. I mean, this whole row is purple, just like this whole row was blue. Anyway, last shade in the second row. This one is called Hallucinations. This is like a grapey purple. It's almost a metallic formula, so it's sparkly with, again, something kind of silver going on, but it's definitely not as textured as some of the other shadows and definitely not as sheer. It leans warm, this purple, instead of cool, but it's kind of, you know, straddling the line a bit. I think, yeah, grapey in terms of like a synthetic fake grape, like that kind of color. That's what it looks like to me. Those would be pretty too as like a two shadow look. I think there's a lot of two shadow looks in here. Okay, last row. The color I think is the most stunning and kind of a standout is Warm Light. This is a matte, and I would call this like a marigold yellow. There's something kind of orangey about this yellow. It's just so stunning. I love it. It is beautiful. I feel like it's swatching kind of weird, but I've actually used this one on my eyes so far, and I thought it went on great. I really liked the way it looked. So as much as it's weird here, I've had a really great experience with it so far. So I think that's just a unique yellow, you know? There's something about it. It's not grungy. It's still bright. It's just a little bit more orange than only yellow. Next is the shade Sunlight. This is a coppery golden color. This one has a bit of a red base, just barely, something that gives it just something extra. It's really quite beautiful, more on the metallic side, but it still has like a pieced out sparkle to it as well in that, so it doesn't look like liquid metal. It's really beautiful, a yellow, almost orangey, coppery gold. And then last for these set of swatches, Solar is a kind of poppy orange or coral color. This is another one that really caught my eye in the palette, probably because it's contrasting off the more cool toned colors in here, but it's just a pretty unique shade as well. This has like a slight drop of pink to it, so you know, as much as it's orange, it leans kind of in that coral, again, poppy flower color. I think this set of colors is beautiful. I think they're all beautiful. I say that after every one. I'm so annoying. I'm so sorry. All right, second to last shade. This is called called Eternal, and this is a warm kind of cranberry metallic. It definitely has like an orangish base. It's a full metallic, not any sparkle really going on, just shine. Yeah, it's like a cranberry color. This one I feel like is, you know, kind of standard in other palettes. Like I've seen a color like this before. And then last here, Black Hole. This is a matte shade and it is black. Ooh, but it's kind of a charcoal black. It's not it's like soft. There's something soft about it. It doesn't look like a true deep depths, you know, black hole black to me. It's more of like a soft black or a charcoal black or a really dark charcoal gray even. So, yeah, I mean, I don't mind that, but it's not like a super dark black. All right, so that was the palette. I'm gonna swatch them all out on my arm so you can see them all lined out, and you can see them all together. All right, guys, so here are all the swatches. I mean, it's a beautiful palette, I think. I think that the tones that they've picked for the blues and the purples and then the contrast with that like warm row really looks great. I think the 5 mattes on this half of the palette, so like the light blue, the Neptune, the Dream Shade, the yellow, the coral, like those are very unique and different. I think they add a lot of interest to the palette. I think I might get a little hard pan in Starry Sky and Meteor, so just something to watch out. If you saw my tape video or how I get hard pan off my videos, you can check that out. Just something that I think might happen. It's not like the biggest deal to me, but I thought I'd mention. But yeah, I think it's a really fun palette for summer. It's like almost rainbow, but not quite, and it still has quite a bit of depth as well, so you can get something light and bright or something a little bit more smoky and, you know, defined and darker. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the swatches. All right, next I want to swatch out the gel liners that came out with this collection. So if you buy all of them together, I believe you'll get them in this type of packaging, or you can buy them individually. So yeah, I want to swatch all of these. I don't know how I feel about these quite yet. I have swatched all of these just on my own, and I've used a couple of them also on my eyes. I've used like 3 or so of them, and some went on great, some broke. They remind me a lot of the ColourPop gel liners, so just thought I'd put that out from the top, but let's see how we go. So this first one here is the shade Milk White. I'm trying not to put them too much on their side, but this is Milk White. And there's a swatch of that. So it's just a matte or like a cream white color. Next, this is the shade Galaxy, and this is one of the ones that broke, but it is like a metallic lighter blue. It doesn't really swatch. I don't feel like this one swatches the best, but it is a metallic baby blue. And I thought I would just note that the caps and like the outer packaging are similar to the colors that are inside, but they are not exact. So you'll see that as we go. They are not like direct color comparisons of what's inside. So just something to keep in mind also. Next is the shade 07 Baby Blue. This is another one that broke on me when I first was just swatching these on my own. This one's a really pretty blue, definitely a unique baby blue type color. So I'm excited to try this one on the eyes. When I get to the ones I've tried, I'll give you my thoughts on them. Yeah, I kept the tip. So the tips look like that. They're like more pointed. But anyway, I've had the exact same problem with ColourPop before. Not all ColourPop, but some ColourPop liners. Like in so many ways, they just remind me of the ColourPop. So I feel like if you like that formula and it works for you, you'll probably really like these. I think they're gonna retail for $5.90 a piece, which is pretty dang good. But I did have some that broke off, and I imagine some might dry out. I don't know, there's some things I won't know till like later after having them a while. Next is the shade Sky Blue. This one still has its tip, so I'm gonna try not to break it off. I mean, I didn't try to break off the other ones either. Another one that's so beautiful. I mean, the colors are really quite pretty. So I'm excited to also try that one out on the eyes. The orange one down here is the one that I've used, and it went on so pigmented. So I just feel like I have a million thoughts on these liners, good and bad, I feel like. Next is the shade Green Tea. This is another really interesting one, but the outside packaging is a bit deceiving because it looks almost like a sagey green, but the actual swatch is more olive or like a murky seaweed or something. Pretty color, again, really unique, but the outside isn't quite the same. So just something to note if you thought you were getting the outside. You're getting something really cool but different. This shade is called Mint, and it is a mint green. This is a cream color as well. The last shade was also a cream. And these do lock down. Just so you know, they lock down pretty damn hard. It was tough for me to get the initial swatches I made off my hand. Like, it took some rubbing. So just something to note also there. So that's good. Last for the greens, this one is called Avocado. This was one that broke on me earlier. It's another cream. I feel like another very unique color, very, very unique eyeliner colors. So I do really like that about them. Like, I don't have anything quite like, I don't think any, I mean the white one I guess, but any of these in my collection really already. So I do like the uniqueness. For the yellow, this one's called Lemon, and this one's still attached, or the tip's still there. Not the best swatch, but it's very bright. And again, I don't really want to judge the swatches if I haven't used them on my eye yet, because like with this next one, this one's just called Orange, and I had swatched all these, you know, I was like, I want to obviously use them. And this went on so well. It like almost tinted my lashes. It was so pigmented and it was beautiful. So the orange one, I will say I do highly recommend. It's super pigmented. Again, not like the color on the outside, but really, really vibrant and fiery and beautiful. So I really enjoy that one. Next is the shade Lavender. This is a purple. Again, the tip, this one's quite crumbly. Here. Very creamy, almost kind of waxy. Like, this one's just a weird formula, and I don't know if it's just the lavender that's like this, like every single lavender is like this, if just my lavender's like this. So that's what's kind of tough about these. I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna get. That's the one thing I don't like about them, you know? It's hard to be confident about how they're gonna perform or how they're gonna come. The next shade is Pitaya, maybe? It's a pink color. Really beautiful. This one I also can't wait to get on the eyes. It seems very similar in formula and like opacity to the orange. So I have high hopes for this specific color. Again, what a beautiful pink. Like, oh, I'm excited for that. This next shade is called Golden Brown, and this one is the next shimmer that we have. So I've used this one and it went on nice, you know, it was fine. It was pretty good. I like the color a lot. I like the shimmer in it as well. I do think with this collection, the thing that really stands out to me and that I would be willing to risk the money on or like buy, especially, you know, for the $5.90, are the more unique, colorful shades. I think that's what really shines in here as opposed to the neutrals. Next is the shade Coffee. It looks like almost a gray, and I was excited for that, but it really is a brown. It's a pretty brown, kind of warm, but the outside, I thought maybe we were gonna get like a gray taupe, but it's brown inside. So that was kind of surprising when I opened it what was actually in there. Next is the shade Colorful Black, and this is a shimmery black. So it almost looks more gray. It has like a silver shimmer in there, and yeah, it looks like a shimmery charcoal to me. And last we have just the classic color Black, and it's just a nice black. It's, you know, pretty dang dark looking, pretty solid overall. So there are all the swatches of the colors. Like I said, I can vouch for orange, at least my orange. It didn't break and it went on so nicely. I have enjoyed using this color here, Golden Brown and Coffee, but you know, I have pencil liners maybe that are sharpenable that I like a little bit more. And I think what really shines are the colorful shades. So if you have one that really, you know, piques your fancy and maybe you like the ColourPop formula of eyeliners, maybe try these, you know, that might be a good one. But I'm a little worried about the lavender. We'll see how it goes, and just know that they might break off, like just the tip might break off. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's the swatches of the eyeliner and some of my initial thoughts, which I'll probably give you more of later in the video. All right, guys, so I think the real standouts besides the palette in this collection are the highlighters. They are stunning. I just want to give you an overview of what we're going to look at, but the packaging on these is so beautiful. It is a light purple with the moon on it. It feels sturdy and high quality and just really substantial and unique. I don't know. When I opened these, I was just so excited. So I want to swatch these all out. I'm also going to give you comparisons because all of these are duochromatic in one way or another. And really the only other duochromatic highlighters that I have are the ones from Comarisons. And I kind of think of Comarisons and Oden's Eye very similarly because they're indie brands. They do kind of cool stuff. So I thought it would give you some comparisons in case you wanted them. Why not? So anyway, let me get to swatching these individually first and describing them. I thought really fast I would show you the box that these ones come in. So this is what the box for the highlighters look like, and they're packaged in there pretty tight. So okay, anyway, that's not really why we're here. This is the most stunning shade. I'm starting off with that because why the hell not? This one's called Lavender Dream, and if you're looking for the most sparkly, stunning looking one, like this is it. You've come to the right place. I'm trying to swatch just off to the side a bit here, but this is a beautiful, sheer, sparkly, blue, silver, kind of purple highlighter. I think it's really quite beautiful. I don't wear colorful highlighters all of the time, but I do think this one's quite pretty. I believe this is an overspray. Unfortunately, they did some overspray things. We'll get to that in a second, but underneath, I still think it's quite pretty for like a purpley, blue, sparkly highlighter. Again, you're gonna really want to like sparkles because this one's quite heavily sparkly. The two biggest comparisons that I can think of off the top of my head for this are Moon Cruiser from Comarisons. So I'll swatch that up here. And then this one is Skywalker. Both of these are quite sparkly and textured as well. So they're all very similar. And this one's more of like, yeah, a lavender, blue, silver, purple, like all together. All those sparkles are like in one, and it's not flashing one way or the other like these ones do, just so you can see the comparison, but similar color tones. This next one is called Moon Talk, and it is really quite pretty. Again, it almost has a green kind of pink thing going on, golden green. This one isn't nearly as sparkly, so it doesn't have as much texture as that last one, but it has really beautiful shine to it. Definitely a lot of green going on. So the first thing I thought of for comparison was Laser Glazer from Comarisons. Now this one is more green and it has like a pink shift and a little bit more of like a red base on it. But the green that this has is a similar green, but it just doesn't have the pink in the same way. But if you're looking for a green highlighter, I think it's a really good option because there aren't a ton of those out there. To me, it's almost like absinthe or something. Like that's the vibe of it. Really quite pretty. All right, next, this is called Azura Shine. And this one kind of reminds me of Moonwalker, I think. And this is one of those kind of blue purple shades again. I guess I should swatch Lavender Dream next to it so you can see. I feel like Lavender Dream is a lot more unique because it is quite like a lavender color. It's kind of hard to tell, but this is Azura Shine. It has more blue going on. And then this is Lavender Dream, which has more of a silver, purple, pink thing going on. So yeah, and this almost has more of a translucent base than the other one. They're both kind of translucent, but yeah, similar. This one's more unique though. If you have something similar, I think the most similar to this one is gonna be Skywalker. I think Skywalker and the Azura Sky are like very similar. They're very, very similar. All right, this next shade is called Pink Star, and it is a pink and like lemony gold kind of color. This is one of those ones that doesn't have tons of sparkle, almost like a translucent base, honestly, and then it kind of flashes the pinky, almost orange color. So that one's quite pretty. I think the most similar to it is gonna be Comet Catcher from Comarisons. So this one is the Oden's Eye, and then this one's Comarisons Comet Catcher. They're very similar. This one's maybe a little bit more almost red instead of pink, but And then this one might have a little bit more sparkle to it, even though it's not like super chunky like some of the others. It's more sparkly than this one. This one seems more fine and just like a shimmer. Hopefully that helps. I don't know how helpful the comparisons are, but the first thing I thought when I saw these was, wow, these are stunning. Like, oh my gosh, I haven't been into colorful highlighters since, you know, the Kaleidos ones. And then I was like, I wonder how they compare to the Kaleidos ones. So yeah, in color. So hopefully this is helpful at all. This next shade is called Warm Sunshine. And this is probably the most neutral out of everything. It has like a golden shine. There's something kind of silvery though, and like almost grayed out in the base. I don't know if you can tell that. Definitely unique and interesting, but it does have a bit of that yellow and almost a pink. It's very interesting. I don't think there's anything that similar from Kaleidos to this, really. This is Solar Flare, and that's way more golden. You can see that there. The only thing I can think is Ray Rider, which is the most neutral from Kaleidos. It's kind of similar, but this has almost like a grayed, like silver and gold look to it. It's interesting. It's like kind of gray, cool toned, but also has like a warm yellow, soft gold shine to it. So yeah, that one is Warm Sunshine from Oden's Eye. Okay, the last one I have here is a beautiful pinky kind of violet. This is another one that has a bit of like an overspray on it, so I don't know if you can tell there, which it looks beautiful, but I don't love oversprays just on the fact that obviously it's not the full product. So this is really pretty. This almost reminds me of What a Brat from Fenty right now, like swatching it. So this is a pink, but it has like a green shimmer in it. So unique. I don't think I've seen a highlighter quite like this, you guys. So this one, along with Lavender Dreams, probably my top picks in terms of uniqueness. This is called Rose Sky, if I didn't say that. And to be honest, there really isn't a similar one from Kaleidos. So I feel like, again, it's quite unique. This one is Star Surfer, but it's not the same at all. Diamond Dasher might have the same texture because this one definitely has a lot of sparkle to it, but it has no pink. So yeah, I think it's quite a unique one. I love the green that's in there too. This one has me excited to layer over blushes also because it has that slightly pink base to it. So pretty. Really like that one. All right, guys, I'm gonna swatch these on my arms and then I'll show you the colors. All right, guys, so here are the swatches. So beautiful. This one is Lavender Dream, Azura Shine, Pink Star. This is Warm Sunshine, Rosy Sky, and Moon Talk. I think the most unique are Lavender Dream, Rosy Sky, and Moon Talk. I think those ones, if you're looking for the most different, are definitely them. If you're looking for the most sparkly, I would say Rosy Sky, Lavender Dream, and Azura Shine are probably the most sparkly. This one here, Warm Sunshine, is the most neutral. It also has the least amount of shine to it. So it's almost like more of a soft glow look in the swatch at least. So yeah, I hope that those swatches were helpful and you can kind of see the differences between them. All right, and last we have the blushes. So there are 6 blushes in this collection. 3 of them are matte, 3 of them are shimmery. As you can tell here, the shimmer ones have a top coat. Like, I think that's just meant to look cool as like a design, but the actual underneath blush is also shimmery. It just doesn't have that kind of top coat going on. So let me swatch these ones out for you. I'm gonna do the matte ones first. So this one here is called Sunset Clouds, and this one is more of a mauve pink kind of color. Again, these ones are matte. So that one is Sunset Cloud. This next one here is called Warm Sun, and it is a peachy, really warm orange type of color, kind of light, and that's it swatched there. And then last, this one's called Orange Sunny. Let me move it in a little bit more. And this one's like a more dark orange brown, like terracotta shade. I think this one's quite beautiful and pretty unique. So those are all 3 of the matte blushes. All right, next are the shimmer blushes, and this first one is called Rosewater Love. I'm gonna swatch the side without the top spray, so that way you can get the actual color. This one is a rose pink, but it has a golden shift and shimmer to it. So that one is Rosewater Love. It's quite light. This next one's called Peach Gleam. This one doesn't nearly have the shimmer that the other one does. So there's no like reflect in here. It's just this beautiful kind of satin. I love that. I wish, honestly, all the blushes were like this formula and that all the blushes were more different from each other. That would be my ideal if I was doing it. And last here, this one's called Sienna Luster. And this is a peach, and this one also has a golden kind of shift to it, or like shimmer. It's not duochromatic, it's just that the shine on it has a golden hue to it, if that makes sense. So those are the three shimmery blushes. Definitely these two have a very similar formula, and they both have that golden like shine to them. And then this one is more of like a beautiful satin. Like I love this one. I love the formula of this one. I decided to swatch them all out for you guys so you can see. So, you know, I feel like they're really pretty colors. I do wish there was a little bit more differentiation. There's just a lot of those warm orangey type colors going on in here. So yeah, that's all 6 of the blushes. All right, let's get started on today's look. Naturally, I want to go into these colors for this, I think. I've already done kind of a sunny look, so I kind of want to do something cool toned. I think I'm going to focus on the blue first. It's called Soft Cloud, and I'm taking that on a fluffy blending brush. And I'm just going to start working that on my lid. I'm probably going to do something that's going to showcase this purple kind of everywhere. So this blue I'm kind of using as the transition. I was getting a little worried actually when it first went on, but it seems to be building up nicely. My light keeps going off. I definitely want to build it up again in that first part of my eye. I'm going to a lunch date and I'm just gonna have bright makeup. Yeah, when you layer, the first layer goes on and you're like, oh, okay, but that second layer really does tend to pop it. I don't think I'm gonna bring it too much actually in the outer corner right now. I'm gonna save that for the purple. I think I'm actually gonna just use the same brush and I'm gonna dip into the lavender shade, the matte, and that's gonna be in my outer corner. Yeah, that's such a pretty color. I love this. It's like a cloud. So pretty. And I'm just doing a little bit of blending, not a ton, because I like the kind of color block look. Like, I just think this is so pretty already. I don't want to do too much else. I think I just want to go in with the lavender, the shimmery lavender. I'm not using a base, and that might be a mistake. Let me go get a glitter glue. I think that will help because it's getting a little bit of hard pan and I think I want that extra stick, just a little. I'm just using the NYX glitter glue and I'm gonna tap a little bit of that on my lid. Okay, I have fallout. I'm gonna try putting a little bit more on this eye and see if I can just have a better application. It's like not as good as I thought, I don't know. I'm really trying to pack it on my lid. The second layer I feel like is helping it kind of build up. That one was kind of weird. I don't know why it honestly didn't go on smoother. I'm gonna take some of the matte blue, the light blue again, and just kind of tap that up here just to make sure we still see that. And then I'm gonna flip my brush to like the other side and add the purple. I want to do my blush next, I think. I want to do something peachy for sure. I love like blues and these types of purples with peach. And that's like what the blushes are. A lot of them are like warmer peachy. And I think I'm going to just go with this straight up peach. This is the shade Warm Sun. And I'm blending it down from my eye. It's definitely very pigmented. And then I'm taking just this duo fiber just to kind of blend it out. For my brow bone, I'm actually going to take this shade here. I used this one already and I really liked it. It's more flaky. So I'm just tapping that at the brow bone. I think this would have been really pretty on the lid also. And this one has like a similar thing where it kind of gets a little bit of hard pan, or it's like that smooth formula. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I haven't had issues with it going on. And so I wasn't expecting the lavender to really not go on much, but it definitely took some work to get it on there. For highlighter, I want to do Lavender Dreams, duh. This is it. I think it'll look really pretty. I'm actually gonna try just taking my finger, and I'm taking it over the place that does not have the overspray, so we can get like a true look. I'm taking it from my eye and tapping it onto my face. These also have a very like slick feel to them. And I feel like sometimes it can be difficult to pick up with a brush. Not a ton, but I don't know. I just was thinking about how it actually would go on really nice with a finger, I think. I'm actually gonna try to put this on my lid and see what happens. So there we are. Let me zoom us in. I usually zoom us in a little more. So there are the eyes. And you can see that highlighter here. You can see the blush color, everything. Very glossy highlight. I like that a lot. I've been really happy with the highlighter so far. Oh, I didn't put any on my face. Let's do that. I'm gonna use the more neutral one for my actual face because we have a lot going on. This one's called Warm Sunshine. I tapped it on earlier on just bare skin and it looked really good. I'm just gonna do a little on my nose. Let's do the liners now. I wanna use a mix of these. So we have the shade Sky Blue, there's Baby Blue, and then this one is called Galaxy. Now Galaxy kind of, I'm sorry to say, isn't very good. I guess I'll zoom us in. I'm gonna put this on my inner corner so you can see it at work, but it's not a very pigmented one. And it's not one I really recommend. Like, yeah, it's not very shiny, it's not very pigmented, just not that great. When it comes to Baby Blue and Sky Blue, I've already used these. I do prefer Sky Blue over Baby Blue. They're so similar. I'm gonna put this on my lash line. And I'm putting just the tiniest bit on my lower lash line. I don't want too much. I'm gonna try the Baby Blue. I don't know. I don't even like how this is applying that much either. The liners have not been my fave. But they do stick. They stay the fuck on. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that much. I'm also gonna use the white on my inner rim so that way my eyes don't look red. Okay, I'm gonna add some mascara and I'll see what else I wanna do for the look, because usually I don't like to do something too much, and I kind of liked this idea of the pastel dream of colors. I don't wanna deepen it up too much, so I'm gonna add the mascara and go from there. I realized I haven't done my inner corner besides like the liner, so I'm gonna go in with Azura Shine, the blue one, and I'm gonna put that on my inner corner. I kind of think this is it for the look. I don't know. I guess we're all the way zoomed in. So this is what the eyes look like. I love the mattes. I love the mattes. I think they're so pretty. I think the mascara really tied everything together. I love that brow bone shade. I really like the highlighter. I really like the blush as well. I don't know if I like the choice of blush for this look. Maybe something with a little brown and like a peach leaning would have been better. But yeah, that's what I did. Didn't really love the lid shade. That's the only one that kind of, I don't know. I just thought it was going to be different. I want to try it just on a plain base and see how that works, because maybe that's what it needs. But yeah, that was one that I wasn't expecting it to go on the way it did. And here is the look all zoomed out. I am going to insert a few clips of other times I've worn some products. You guys can see what those look like. I didn't do them like on camera, but I showed like the final look with them on camera. So let me show you that real fast before we get into some thoughts. All right, guys, I thought I would share with you the first look I've done with the palette and any of the products actually. I wasn't planning on filming, but it looks so good. How could I not? How could I not? Okay, obviously I use the Solmåne II, and I was just I mean, this yellow has me, okay? I love it. It's like a marigold yellow, and I definitely thought immediately of putting that kind of in this upper part of my brow. I think that would look good on its own with just a single shimmer. With what I've done with the outer corner, like there's a lot of ways you could do it. Anyway, I blended this up into the inner portion of my brow. Then I knew I wanted this on the outer corner, so I put that on the outer corner on just the top lid at first. And then for the kind of empty space and over top those matte shadows, I used the center shade here called Starry Sky, and it has a very golden reflex. It looks kind of pink in the pan, but it shines very gold. It's very flaky and sparkly, and that's what's going on the top of my eyes. I did also use this liner. I really wanted to put some of the liners to the test. Swatching them initially, some of them were breaking. I was like, but using this, I had a whole different experience. It was so pigmented. It looked so good. I could almost like tint my lashes with this. It was so pigmented. So this really helped out. And then I used that same kind of corally outer corner to go over on top of it and kind of start blending it down. And then I knew I was gonna do the blush draping. I've just been into the like more intense blush draping lately, so you can definitely see that here. I initially went in with Sienna Luster. This is one of the shimmery blushes, so I put that down kind of first as a little bit of a base, and it was quite sheer. I mean, I was being a little bit cautious. I didn't want to put too much on, but it was a little bit sheer, has a nice sheen to it, kind of a golden shine. And then as I kept like working with the look and everything, I decided to go in and beef that up and intensify it with the Warm Sun color. This is the lighter of the peachy matte shades, so I really packed on some color. I liked that this was orange, the coral was a little bit more red, and then we have the yellow. It's a really pretty kind of ombre of colors going on in the look. And I also used one of the highlighters. I went in with the Warm Sunshine shade, which is a golden orange type color. So that is the look, my first look with it. Pretty dang happy. I'm excited to explore more. I'm sorry you didn't get to see me create it. I will at least have one of those in here, but I still wanted to show you what it looked like on the eyes and everything, instead of not, I guess. So yeah, that's the first look I ever did. Good first impressions. The palette especially is something I really like. Hi guys, I wanted to show you what blush and highlighter products I'm wearing right now. I don't have like a demo, I'm already wearing them, but for a blush day I used the Sienna Luster shade from Oden's Eye. I mostly stuck to this. I didn't like try to get into the embossing or like the overspray powder. So that's like a bit of the sheen. It's definitely peachy and has a pretty strong golden like flash to it. It looks really pretty. I like the way it looks a lot. And then I decided to use one of the highlighters, and I went with Rosy Sky because I just think it's so pretty. This has a bit of an overspray on it as well, but again, I was kind of digging into this. It is so pretty. It is like pink with green sparkle to it. So I have that on top on my cheeks, but it's also like the only thing going on my nose. Very sparkly, so just know that. But I wanted to show you guys what these products actually look like on my cheeks since I have them on today. I hope you enjoy any of those little like clips. I just thought as I'm wearing these and like testing them, and I haven't done the video yet, I might as well put them in. So that is what Rosy Sky and the blush in Sienna Luster look like on me today. All right, so let's talk about this collection. This isn't my, I would say, final thoughts, but it's also not a first impressions. I've definitely used these products a few times. Feel like I've had them a little bit longer than what I normally get what to do for these types of reviews. I'm gonna start off with my favorite thing. I do really like the palette. So this is obviously the Solmåne II. It's what we've been talking about. I really love the color story of this. I love that it is cool toned and warm toned. I wish there were a few more shimmers, honestly. I just love shimmers, but that's just me. But I feel like the mattes that are in here are special. The ones that I've used on this side of the palette, the yellow, the coral, the baby blue, the lavender, I had a really great time with those colors, and I think they're just so pretty unique, I feel like, and I've just enjoyed using them. They're like inspiring to me. I've really loved this center shade. It's like the most special shade in the palette. It is flaky and transparent, and it doesn't have a base at all, so it shines kind of golden, and I just think it's a really fun color. So that one I really enjoyed. I haven't had much actually experience with the other shimmers in here. I really just have been drawn to that center shade. The duochrome and like shimmer shine flakiness has gotten me. I didn't love this lavender. It's definitely one of those formulas that's gonna get, I don't know, that, yeah, it kind of gets hard pan. So is the other one, but I still find this works on my eyes, and I didn't really love the lavender, unfortunately, today. So I need to test that out more. All the other formulas of shimmers, though, I can tell just from swatching, are not like those. Those two are the two that are in here, so I think these will all be really pretty. I just haven't been in the mood to do like a full color look like that on my lids yet. I just haven't been. But I think with summer coming, I will. So this is something that I've really enjoyed and I do really like. Still want to play more with it, but I do like it. The highlighters are also something I think are really fun. I specifically think that the Lavender Dream shade is a really good one, definitely very unique. I've been enjoying Rose Sky as well, and I also really like Moon Talk if you're looking for something that's kind of green. The formula on these is one of those, it's not a super shock, it's not a cream, but it's one of those powders that it feels very smooth to the touch, and also almost like if you press down, you might indent it. You might. It's not as like creamy as a Super Shock, but it's kind of like that, if that makes sense. So I do find, again, almost like the shadows in here, if you're going to be swatching these a ton, you might get hard pan. That's what I felt. And you might need to have a brush that's a little bit more dense with these instead of wispy, just to really pick up the product. I think the embossing is really pretty. I don't love that they had the overspray. I mean, it made them look seriously so beautiful, but I do feel like even the color underneath is really pretty. So I'm not too bummed out about that. But yeah, I definitely suggest those three. Those are my top three. The other ones are nice too. I used the Warm Sunshine today, but I also did use this on just bare skin. And again, I used my finger and just like pressed it in. And I thought that looked really good actually. So I definitely got excited about duochrome highlighters when these came to me, and I haven't been excited about duochrome highlighters in a long time. So I think those are really fun, and I do like the formula so far as well. So yeah, those ones are great. Almost all of them though definitely have some sparkle to them, so if you want like a more classic highlight look, probably not the ones for you. On to blushes. I do like the blushes. Again, we have amazing packaging on both the blushes and the highlighters, like stunning looking packaging. I've enjoyed them. I feel like though that they like all seem very similar to me, so I think you can pick out the color that best suits you and just get maybe one in the shimmer, maybe one in the matte or something like that, because they all have something kind of peachy to them going on, but just different depths. The one I used today I think is really pretty, definitely quite peachy, a nice pigment on it, but still really blendable. So I think these are solid, especially if you like one of the colors. I do find with the shimmers that the shine on them, and it tends to be a bit of a golden shine that comes through, so just something to keep in mind. When I've used the Sienna Luster shade, it definitely, you know, on my cheeks flashed quite gold. So that's just something to consider. It almost is like a blush lighter in that it has that highlighter aspect to it. And I find that similar thing happening with the Rosé Love shade as well. Again, it's like a blush highlighter, and this one even has like less pigment and almost just becomes like a rosy highlighter. So just something to keep in mind there. The other shimmer though is really pretty. I actually really love that one, and it doesn't have as much of like a color to the shimmer. The formula just isn't quite as matte, and I think this is my preferred actual formula out of all of them, so I would love this in multiple colors, pinks and neutrals and berries and just everything. That would be amazing. Again, we do have the spray over to like indicate that these are shimmers, and these are only like a little bit on the pan. They look really pretty. You know, I think there's like the age-old debate of oversprays, isn't there? And then last for some of my thoughts, unfortunately, we're getting to the eyeliners. I am so bummed, y'all, that I don't like these more. I love the fun colors. I love the price point. I believe these are $5.90 a piece, and I think that they had a lot of potential. Overall, they remind me of ColourPop. So just keep that in mind. If you love the ColourPop eyeliners, then maybe you'll really like these. And I feel like some are better than others when it comes to pigmentation or how dry they are or if they're crumbling or not. But I had quite a few of these have the tips break off on me. I mean, that still makes them wearable. I'm just saying that shouldn't probably be happening. I've learned that I really do like a sharpenable pencil, and I really wish that these were all sharpenable pencils. I just think it lends to a more creamy formula a lot of the time, and that's just like my preference. So there's that for me going against these. Like I mentioned when I was swatching them, make sure you're referencing swatches, not outside packaging, if you're gonna buy some of these, so you know what color you're actually getting, because they're a little bit different than the actual product. Really, the one I suggest is the orange. This one looked amazing. I really liked how it enhanced my look, so this one was great. I've actually at least tried all of them around or on my eyes, like a piece or something, just to kind of get an idea. So I'm gonna run through some of my thoughts so I can tell you which ones to not get. And maybe these are just how they are for me. Maybe different ones are more creamy for other people and the ones I love aren't. I don't know, because I feel like my experience has been inconsistent, so I don't know. Buy at your own risk on these ones for sure. For the pink, I think this one's pretty okay. So if it's one that you wanted, it might be good. The yellow I didn't love. It's not the worst, but I wasn't wowed. Like I said, the orange is my favorite one by far that I tried, so I liked the orange a lot. It's like this red orange in actual color of the product, and I just felt like it was really pigmented and it didn't feel too dry, because that's one of the issues with these. Sometimes they just almost hurt, like they just tug a little on the eye, and I don't particularly love that. So the orange was great. The white I think is decent. It's not super opaque. I've used it on the waterline twice now, and I think it definitely like helps to make my waterline less red or pink, but it's not a full opaque thing, and it's not super creamy, so it's okay. Golden brown was also pretty good. I mean, I have a lot of other shimmers out there. It's like a shimmery brown, so it's not like super unique. And I think one of the fun things about this collection and the liners are the unique colors. So yeah, I think this one's okay. I think coffee is also pretty decent. It was a little dry, but a nice, rich, warm brown color, and I liked that. Lavender did not apply super amazing in swatches, but I actually found that it applied better looking on the eyes. Still not absolutely amazing, but not bad. Not the worst, you know? The mint was pretty good. Probably up there with the orange in how opaque it was and how I liked it. So I liked the mint. The sky blue and the baby blue colors are very similar, and I don't think you would need both. So I preferred the sky blue. It was just a little bit darker, but if you want, I guess, the more pastel one, the baby blue is not bad, but they're pretty close. With the greens, I thought that the green tea shade was actually pretty interesting. I used it as a liner on my lips, and I filled my whole lips in with it. I know that's weird, but I did do that. And I actually thought it looked really good as a lip liner, so there's that. And these things stay. So that's something you could also maybe double these up on if you pick any up. And then with the avocado shade, like, it was okay. I don't know, you guys. I'm not in love, but if you need a colorful liner, sometimes, you know, they get the job done decent enough, and you could put like a powder shadow on top. And again, we're talking about a $5.90 price point, which is not too bad. So I don't know. I definitely say stick to the fun colors. I personally wouldn't get like the neutrals. And if you're interested in the Galaxy shade, this is one I wouldn't necessarily recommend. I just don't think it's gonna do much unless you're using it as like a base or something. I don't know, not my favorite. So in general, the liners aren't really my favorites. If you're gonna pick one up, I think that the orange, the mint, maybe the pink are probably your best bets to try. And then if you do like those and you wanna try other ones, maybe go from there. That's my 2 cents on it, okay? All right, so those are my thoughts so far on the collection. I think it's a really fun and inspired collection. I definitely think if you're looking for the highlighters or the blushes and you find some colors you think you'd enjoy, I don't think you're gonna be disappointed by the packaging or the formula. I think they're really beautiful pieces of makeup. And like I said, I've really been enjoying the palette. I think it's a really pretty color story. I feel like overall, if you like Oden's Eye formula of eyeshadows, you're gonna love this palette. It's really pigmented and beautiful. So those are my thoughts. Let me know if you guys are gonna pick this one up. up. Like I said before, I do have a code with Oden's Eye. It saves you 10% off. So if you're gonna shop and wanna use my code, thank you so much. It is monetarily affiliated. No pressure, but if you use it, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope this was helpful more than anything. So thanks so much, guys. I'm gonna leave this video here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.